is a presentation of BFA Sports.
A little politeness. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to DiDonato's Family Fun Center. It is Wednesday, and it is the Coach's Show with the coach of Hammonton football, Jim Raso. I'm Chris Lozzi. BFA Sports, the home of Hammonton football this season. You sat in this chair, and you said last week, yeah, we're going to fix this, and this. What did you fix?
Well, you know, just from the start of things, we wanted to clean up on special teams, which I thought we did. I thought we did a pretty good job this past week. You know, we can always improve in all areas. The one thing, you know, we've been preaching to the kids is about getting turnovers again, because we always talk about the percents. We didn't come away with any turnovers, so that part was a little disappointing. Offensively, you know, I thought we did some really nice things at times, driving the ball, and when we got a chance to get down there, be able to punch it in. So that, to us, that was very important.
So you flipped the field. We're going to talk about a victory, by the way, Hammonton 26-12, and it's a divisional game, and it's Highland. But you know, when you have those divisional matchups, the proverbial throw the records out the window. It really does apply, though, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, yeah. Anytime you're playing a divisional opponent, you know it's going to be a tough game.
So you go into, and remember now, this is 3 games in a row away from the friendly confines, if you will. From the looks of it, early on, Joey Gillen, again, gets in, gets a piece of a block. Special teams obviously played much, much better. So he gets a block, and then you also use him on offense as well. Probably should have had 2 touchdowns, but he only had 1.
He dropped the first one.
Yeah.
I mean, couldn't have been more wide open than what he was, but you know, we did come back to him. We didn't lose faith in him. We came back to him, and he was able to catch the second one that was thrown to him.
But you had ball control. The defense played very well. You didn't allow anything until pretty much in the second half, and that was the long pass, really. But other than that, you shut down a Tartan team, and they had a decent quarterback in Mr. Leary.
Yeah, he made a couple nice throws against us, but for the most part, you know, I thought our secondary did a pretty good job, minus that, you know, that really long throw. You know, for us offensively, you know, it was nice to be able to throw the ball as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we kind of got back on track. Drew had a couple of nice passes. You know, Camargo was nice getting him back into the flow of things. He made a really nice catch and, you know, did some nice things. Even on that long pass that Highland caught, he actually hustled all the way down, tracked him down, you know, at the 1-yard line, you know, saving a touchdown at that point, you know, which was good to see.
So you kids just understand, the coaches don't miss those things. I mean, there's somebody that's, you know, giving somebody a lot of praise for saving a touchdown. I mean, that's good stuff to know.
Yeah, no, that says a lot.
And, you know, having Josh back in, you know, missing week 1, I mean, that makes things a lot more balanced on both sides of the ball. I mean, your captains are really performing well this year. We already just talked about Joey, but how about Andrew?
Yeah, you know, all of them, you know, between Joey, Andrew, Dowdy's been doing a really nice job on defense. You know, the offensive stats might not necessarily be there, but, you know, from where he was last year to where he's at defensively, you know, he made a huge improvement. And, you know, he's making those plays that might not stick out, you know, by just watching it. But you go back and watch the film as a coach, you can see how much improvement is there, where they're not, you know, necessarily thrown his way as they were last year.
Typically in a football game, when you control the line of scrimmage, you're going to control the game, and your running game really controlled the game Friday night.
Yeah, and you know, that was part of our theme for tonight. We figure we give the linemen a little bit of love tonight.
That's called a segue, folks.
Oh, yeah. And,
well done.
you know, in particular, all the way across the board, but our left side of the line, the two gentlemen which we'll have on tonight, those guys graded out really high and did some really nice things in terms of pancake blocks and taking their guys off the ball.
So, again, in the comparison, Cherokee on this side and Highland on this side, we talked about special teams, about adjustments. They really didn't have much to put on the board in the second half. Did you feel you had to make adjustments, or do you think that you were in a good spot?
You know, we were always trying to make adjustments at halftime, you know, going over things that worked well and what didn't work and why it didn't work, and, you know, things that we see, especially the coaches upstairs, they see some things that they think that how we can attack them on either side of the ball.
Did anything shock you in the Highland offense that they threw the ball more or they ran the ball more? Because when you have a Leary, I mean, I'm sure they like to throw the ball.
Yeah, no, it was, for the most part, what we thought we were going to get is what we got. And like I said, they usually have a big offensive line, which they had, and our guys up front did a pretty nice job. And like I said, overall, if we didn't give up that big pass play, things were pretty good for the most part.
So I'm sure after the game, when you had a chance to talk to some of the media members, and they would ask you something like, what were the keys to victory tonight? So I'll ask you the same thing. Basically, what was it that allowed you to really do the things you wanted to do?
Being patient and finishing off drives, and being able to throw the ball and being consistent doing it. It's nice to be able to call those pass plays and having somebody back there that's able to do, complete those plays. And the receivers and the running backs did a nice job. But the quarterback, the running backs will tell you that all started up front with the protection and those guys run blocking as well.
So off camera, we talked about Drew and the throws that he made, and some of them were really, really tight throws. There was one on the sideline, but I'm going to go with the fourth down conversion, though. That was an unbelievable pass.
Oh, yeah, and it was a good read and good protection. And, at this point, that's what we're expecting out of him, He's showing us who he is, and that's what the expectations are.
So a little bit of what we're going to talk about when we come out of the break. We've got the offensive lineman coming up, and we're going to talk about tomorrow night's opponent. It's Eastern. It's a Thursday night broadcast here on BFA. All that and more when we come back on the Coaches Show. We're live at DiDonato's Family Fun Center in Hammonton. Back with more.
Newest thing from Pizza Hut isn't pizza at all. It's cheesy, so crispy, loaded with toppings, and just $6.99. Enough for two, price for one. New Pizza Hut melts, just $6.99.
I be like, sheesh.
Welcome back. We are here at DiDonato's Family Fun Center, BFA Sports, every Wednesday. It's the Hammonton Football Coaches Show with him, the coach, Jim Raso. I'm Chris Losey. We talked about a 26-12 victory against Highland last week. I would be remiss if I didn't mention the officials. How did you feel in the discipline side? Because it was really out of control last week against Cherokee.
Yeah, for the most part, I thought we kept our composure and did a much better job this week. And I was hoping that was going to be the case after, coming off of having the penalties and some of the things that happened. So, this group of being a veteran group, you would expect those guys to be able to, make those kind of changes.
The only thing I saw was the defensive pass interference in front of their bench. Our broadcast people didn't see it that way. When you got a chance to look at it, what did you think?
We didn't feel it was, but – there's going to be times in games you're going to have to overcome some calls, and, I thought we responded well, in terms of not sitting there pouting, get up and let's get ready to go for the next play. You can't sit there and dwell on it.
3 times during the first segment you mentioned the offensive line, so it's time to give them some love. It's the left side of the line. And I'm going to let Coach do the honors. So we're going to bring up our 2 stars that we're going to talk
We
to.
got our left offensive guard, Christian Medina, and our left offensive tackle, Cameron Broadnow.
Did you hear that? Love the line?
Left side's the best side, man.
What's that?
Left side's the best side.
There you go. Well, first of all, boys, let's make sure everybody can hear you. So let's put, there you go. All right, you too. All right. So you heard Coach. All right. He said that it all starts with up front. You guys, you must have had a really, really good week of practice because you dominated the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
You don't say much, do you?
No, not
That's
at all.
all right. All right. What did you see? Did you see any kind of tendencies on the across from you or anything that said, "Hey, I own this kid tonight"? Not really.
No, just go in there every game. I'm going to dominate you. That's how I go into it.
How about Kenny behind you? That's pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think? So, you had a bad game, not you personally, but bad game against Cherokee. I mean, you want to get that taste out of your mouth fast,
Of course,
right? Back to basics.
Back
right?
to basics, you know what I mean? All starts at practice, getting our getting our nose dirty, and getting your hand in the ground, you know what I mean? A lot of communication, too, on the line.
Yeah.
They got to communicate a lot. We did do that a lot during practice, too, you know what I mean, Cam? And plus the other linemen.
Not much pressure, though.
Nah.
They didn't get much pressure on you. You guys really, really held your own. But you want to talk about the right side or forget the right side of the line?
No, the right side is good, too, you know what I mean? You got Ryland there, too, Gabe, 2 pretty good guys. They get the job done, too.
You know your nickname is, right?
Nah.
Okay.
What's my nickname?
You're too young to remember. Coach will tell you after.
During the broadcast, when they were calling you Funky Cole Medina.
What does that mean?
You're going to have to look it up.
We'll talk about that.
You have to look it up. My wife actually is in the audience, so she could probably tell you because she's of that different age group. So that's her in the corner, by the way. So, all right, you got that was divisional game. I was telling Coach about that, and from here on out, it's a different season because you're done the regular season like second week in October, third week in October. It's a lot different, and then all of a sudden, bang, there goes the postseason. So. You guys have to get into mid-season form right away, and you guys did a great job last week. Say yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, well done. Well done. Well, the offensive line, folks, blew holes open. What Kenny have? He had over 100 and what?
I think 183, I think it was this week.
I must have transposed the numbers. I 138. 183. 183 for Kenny. And we call him Kenny the Jet, by the way. I don't know if you have a different name for him. What's that? Kenny the Jet. Kenny the Jet. All right. Hey, guys, thanks for coming up, man. You ready for next week, right? It's tomorrow night, by the way.
Of course we're ready.
You ready to go?
Yes,
What's
sir.
it going to be? Now, you got to say more than 10 words. So you're going to play in front of the home crowd tomorrow night. What are you thinking?
It's going to be a good atmosphere, but I think we're going to get the job done up front.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think we're going to dominate the line of scrimmage tomorrow night.
Did you do some video and looking at Eastern?
Of course.
That a guy.
Yep.
All right. Describe the environment. Now, here you go. You're finally at home.
I love being at home. The atmosphere. Sometimes
Yeah.
the little kids like the Hawks come around. You know what I mean? Brings joy to my eyes. You know what I mean? I love playing at home under the Friday night lights. It's an amazing place to play.
I love it. 2 C's on the left side. Cameron, Christian, give them a hand, everybody. Our stars of the game that were probably unsung heroes, and Hammonton's 26-12 win against Highland. And when we come back, we're going to talk about tomorrow night's opponent, Eastern, and the home opener, and it's right here on BFA. Back with more on the Coach's Show after this.
Newest thing from Pizza Hut isn't pizza at all. It's cheesy, so crispy, loaded with toppings, and just $6.99. Enough for 2, price for 1. New Pizza Hut melts, just $6.99.
I be like, sheesh, sunset.
There they go. Year number 1 of Hammonton football here on BFA. Every week I ask you about this, but are you getting more reactions than you thought you would get?
It's been all positive. Like I
Yeah?
said, you know, a lot of people who can't. We talked about this. Can't make the games. It's good for them to be able to see it. One of our former players just texted me today, Kai Presley up at Maine.
Yeah.
And he's like, Coach, I've been watching every single game. So it's good to hear back from former players and you know, alumni and people that live out of town. They're able to see our games.
And we love that because, you know, there's no restrictions because they're on YouTube, as you know. Has anybody reached out that's like in different parts of the country?
We have a couple former players or alumni that live actually out in California.
That's nice.
That actually had said it's nice to be able to watch the game. So it's a good thing.
So you got people at 4 o'clock on the West Coast, and they want to watch the game. We'll make sure that the broadcasters mention that, you know.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so, but anyway. All right, so you got Eastern coming up. Same deal, right? You play them every year?
Nah, well, we're on that 2-year cycle. We played
Right.
them a couple years ago. It's not one of the schools that we play year in and year out, but we have played them before.
And this is the first year of the 2-year cycle?
Second.
So this is it. So,
Yeah.
so when
Divisional games might change
Right.
next year. You know, we'll find out after the season gets done.
we talked about that too. Everything is changing. I mean, you've got, as a coaching staff, you know, you got to ramp up because the postseason is going to get on you that fast.
Oh yeah.
I don't think you need to tell the kids they need to get fired up for the home opener, but what do you expect if Eastern says, okay, we got to go in there? What are they going to see? What kind of environment are they going to face?
You know, I know the kids are excited. I know the students at the school, the administration, everybody's excited for the first home game. And that was the first thing I told the kids after we got done the other night. This game in particular is kind of special because we're actually honoring one of our former coaches and teachers at the school, Carl France. And he was a special coach to me personally, and I know anybody that ever played for him would feel the same way. So we actually have his family coming in and being honorary captains tomorrow night for us.
What did he mean to the program?
He gave his heart and soul, and you know, one of those guys who was, you know, very strict but very caring. And you know, anytime that he spoke, everybody would listen. I know in particular one year, you know, back when I was playing, Coach Lancetta would always give the pregame speech. We were up at a big game, and Coach France decided to let him give the pregame speech, and you know, all eyes were on him, and we were just so excited, and he got the team fired up. And you know, you'll never forget somebody like that when they mean that much to you.
So you have like an on-field ceremony planned a little bit for
Yeah,
tomorrow?
yep, and we have his initials painted on the field as well.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Hammonton does it right, everybody. Well, it's going to be the Blue Devils and the Eastern Vikings. It's tomorrow night because of the Jewish holiday.
Correct.
Everybody pretty much plays tomorrow night. Any changes in the schedule? You just bump everything up 24 hours, you know, practice, routines, all
Yeah,
that?
you know, just a little bit shorter week again. You know, so, you know, we're hoping it doesn't affect us too much and just try to go out there but keep our same game day routine.
So before we go out, I want to mention this to you, that I had a game on Saturday, and we had that weather bulb that actually came into play. So
There you
now I
go.
know what you're talking
See,
about.
now you know.
And I had a trainer come out onto the field. Just so you know, this is a device that I think I said that Emmett Brown for Back to the Future made. I mean, it had this little thing going around. And if it's in the red, you can still play, but water breaks are mandatory. And if it's in black, you got to take the kids off the field. I understand that this takes into consideration the combination of humidity and heat, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Number one, they placed it on the AstroTurf. I kind of felt that was unfair. Number two, it kind of fluctuated from black to red. So now, as a coach, you're driving down the field, and the trainer tells you it's in black. Oh, now it's in red. Now it's in black. What will your reaction be?
Yeah, it's, you know, we have to follow policy. You know, it gets a little frustrating, you know, because, you know, like I said, last week we were practicing all at night. Luckily, it didn't affect us this week, but, you know, it was set up, still a little warm. It was set up, but we were okay in terms of what the bulb actually says. But, yeah, you know, you got to go by what they're telling you.
You've been head coach a while, but total, how long have you been coaching football?
since 1999.
Have you ever experienced a weather season like this, ever?
No, not to this.
This is
degree.
incredible,
Yeah,
isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, hopefully we're going to get a break. I mean, it's like 75 for
It's supposed to be
tomorrow.
nice tomorrow night, so hopefully, the players enjoy the weather tomorrow night.
If you can't get there in person, join us on BFA tomorrow night. Vin Ebenau, Doug Stasic, they have the call. It is Eastern coming in to take on Hammonton, and it's at 7 o'clock. So for everybody here at DiDonato's and the coach, Jim Raso, I'm Chris Losey. Thanks for joining us on the Jim Raso Coaches Show live at DiDonato's Family Fun Center. We'll see you next week, and go Hammonton.